Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the magic power you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get in on the action, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form, and submit your dream to the show. That's it. That's all you have to do. And I take it from there. Every dream you hear on the show is submitted on one of those forms. So this show airs live on KKNW on Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. But I also turn it into a podcast, and it also will be airing live on Awake TV on Facebook and Vimeo. I just say that because many of you probably only know it as one show or the other, but it goes out in three places. So let's start straight off into the dreams. I've got what I think is quite an interesting dream here, but then I often find that I think every dream is interesting. Oh, I have to say a thank you to everybody for the feedback for last week's show. Several people wrote and said that it's their favorite show ever, and I mean, I liked it, so I knew it was good, but it's always interesting to see, especially when a few people separately said it was their favorite. So I obviously did something different, and I think what I did was I did a longer dream with a lot more detail. So maybe I'll do that a bit more. But here's an interesting dream. The lady says, my husband and I are on a journey, and we come to this exquisite resort. It reminds me of Cinque Terre in Italy, but it is not that place. We parked, I assumed, as next we walk in and had to go up this elevator. So I'll continue a bit more. So my husband pushes the button and we get in the elevator. It is amazing. It's like the size of a room, and I'm looking around going, wow, this is an elevator. On the back wall of the elevator, opposite side of the door, is a 4-pane window with light coming through, shining on the floor. There is a plant in a pot strategically located in the light. On the floor to the left side of the window is a pair of old, well-worn work boots, the type you would wear at a construction site or even at Boeing in the factory. Okay, I'm going to stop there and hopefully keep my thumb on that place. So I will say more about some of these symbols when we get to the end of the dream. But when we see, and this dreamer works for Boeing, so when we see that Mary says there's well-worn boots, and we also see that she says she's parked, and then we see the well-worn boots are there, and they're not being worn anymore. And they're not worn out either. That's an important thing to say. So these symbols say that the dreamer is actually going to retire. So finish working for Boeing and going to move on to something different. It also is a comment in the relationship too, because we have the husband in the dream. That's always the easiest way to tell a dream is about relationship if your partner's in there. So you and your partner are basically going to move on to a higher level, and that's what going into this elevator and moving up is about. You said in comments that you have a fear of elevators, but in this one, you're very impressed. You like it. It's big and it's got lots of light and so on. So this is like overcoming your fears and stepping into something completely new. You've stepped out of the old boots that you used to wear. Not that you wore boots. And you're changing. Now, there's a little bit more, so let's continue on. On the other side, the right side, there's other miscellaneous things which I don't remember what they were. I turn around. Then why did you tell us? I'm only kidding. I turn around and face the elevator door. To the left side of the elevator door, there's an old, nice, beautiful carved wooden desk that if you lift the lid of the desk, it has a sink in it. It was beautiful. I believe it was a porcelain type sink. I thought, wow, I've not seen anything like that before, but I knew that what it was, and it must be really old. We get out of the elevator to walk out into this incredible, stunning view. Okay, so this is, like I said, it's improving your view in the relationship. So it's improving the relationship and improving your view of the world. But there's a little bit more to the fact that it has improved the view. So look, let's go back to this desk that has the sink in it. And what I wrote and asked you, was the sink blue by any chance? And you wrote back, yes, it was. So This is saying that writing is something that you need to do, and writing is going to help you heal an issue with your kidneys, with your elimination system, but particularly the kidneys. And that's going to help you health-wise. Not something that you probably are going to do immediately, but you're going to do it. You're definitely going to write. And that's part of the elevation. So now let's go back. The stunning view, yeah. We get out of the elevator to walk out into this incredible stunning view. To the left are some other buildings with other people or groups of people. This tells us you're meant to work with groups of people. Indeed, you are going to work with groups of people. There are couples everywhere. The view is beautiful, but what is the most stunning is the pools. There is water flowing from pool to pool, and they're all different sizes and depths. All around are couples, but not too many. They're enjoying the pools and the views. We walk over to the reception area to check in. A man stopped by and says that we really should stay for the night. Most people only stay for the day and then continue on their journey, but I recommend staying for the night so you're all well rested. We get a room to stay for the night and go enjoy. And it continues on. So I'll stop there. I mean, it's nearly over, but I'll stop there. So this is saying when you retire, your guide in the dream, anybody who speaks with authority, is telling you to take a rest. Don't immediately launch from retiring into this other work. Take a rest, enjoy it, and then move on into the next phase of your life. You say the next day, as we were traveling, we see other people that didn't stay that night having issues. We see the same guy hold up a sign as we travel by. He is looking good. And then I wake up. Okay, so what about these couples and the groups and so on? And the stunning view over Cinque Terre. So what this dream says is that you are going to help people get a higher perspective, because you've got this higher perspective from moving up in this elevator. You're going to help them see a higher perspective on their life. So you're going to help couples, let's say. You're going to work with groups, but also couples. So you're going to help them see the karma in their lives, which is what Cinque Terre is about. Karma on the land. 5 is a number for karma. But Italy is about the heart. So you're going to help them see how their karma is actually beautiful. And I asked you what Cinque Terre is about, and you said it's 5 cities on mountain tops or in mountains, and they're all connected together by this path. So you're going to help people see the connectedness of the karmic events and karmic stops in their lives, and how the beauty of that system is actually helping them. And when I was describing this to the lady, it was easier to explain it to her, so I don't know if I can get it across on the air. But basically, the couples that will work with are going to see how, like, they're going to start off thinking, okay, we rub each other the wrong way, we get each other's backs up. But after working with Mary, they're going to have the view that their best friend is helping them with their karma, helping them achieve what it is they came here to achieve, helping them to see things about themselves and heal those things about themselves that need the healing. And that's what this stunning view is about. So you're going to do this with groups of people, but you're also going to do it with couples. And we see this guy at the end of the dream, or not the guy, but you say that the people that didn't stop and take a rest are continuing to have issues. Now that's about you needing to take the rest too, but it's also saying that from you helping people get this perspective, get this higher perspective on how the karmic path is such a beautiful path, because it really is. It allows us to achieve our life goals even if we're complete idiots and we don't want to achieve our goals because we don't even know that we have any. Karma allows us to achieve our goals even in that closed eyes state. But you're going to help people by opening their eyes to the beauty of that system so that they then embrace the healing that they need to do, and so on. So really, really quite a nice dream. And I hope I've caught everything in it. But I really wanted to start with that one. So let's move on. This one is from Janik. And sometimes the names I use on the show aren't the real names, but people can fill in a pseudonym on the web form. But Janik says, great fan of the podcast. I learn a lot. Thank you very much, Janik. Over the past few years after moving away from parents. Okay, so let's skip that and move into the dream. You say, I am in a kind of encircled encampment. English isn't great here, but that's okay. That's one of the beauties about dreams. regardless of the language, it doesn't matter. The language is irrelevant. Dreams surpass all that. We speak dreams way before we learn another language. So before we ever learn our native language, and we think, okay, why don't our dreams just speak English or just speak French, whatever it is? The reason they don't do that is because you're dreaming in the womb. You're dreaming for the first year of your life as well. So you're having dreams that are directing you about what your life's about way before you ever learned that language that you currently are using, that you now say, why don't they come to me that way? It's because they predate it. They're much more important than that language. And they'll be still using the dream language when you move on to another language and so on in another lifetime. Anyway, I'm in a kind of encircled encampment with other people, or 4 people outside in the wild. Aliens, grey in color, are roaming freely in groups. So we know from the groups that you're a spiritual leader. The aliens, and we have had aliens come up and UFOs come up in dreams many times before. And I always say that they are about your guides. Now, they aren't always, but 95% of the time they're about your guides and you having an ability to channel. So that's what you look for first, because it's such a common thing. And you say that these are aliens like exactly like the monsters from the Alien movie. You say, so they are killer monsters as depicted in the movies made by Ridley Scott starring Sigourney Weaver. So you mentioned an actress, but she's not in the dream. But again, like I said, we look to see, is this going to be about your ability to communicate with your guides? We also know you're a spiritual leader because we had the groups there as well. Now, aliens can be other things. What else can they be? They can be if you have an infection, you've picked up a bug or something like that. It can be about that as well. It can be other things too, but 95% of the time it's going to be about what this one is, which is your guides and you getting in touch with them. So the aliens somehow get close to me, / the humans inside the encircled encampment. Let's say circular encampment. That's probably what's meant. On the roof or something. Okay. So now when we see it's on the roof is about our spiritual side, our higher aspect. So that's what the focus of the dream is. So we definitely know it's about guides in this dream. So why do you have aliens then? Why do we have these scary ones from that movie? And the answer is because you have a fear that you need to overcome with regard to connecting with your guides. That's all it is. It doesn't mean there's anything bad ever going to come from it. In fact, it wouldn't. But letting you know that like you have that fear. Now you would already know. Then you say, then I get to a place that looks like a cave or the entrance to a base. A man is at the entrance in astronaut's gear, but I can see he also has grey skin like the aliens. He's half man, half alien. In fact, we all are. Because we're not human. Like we come here and inhabit a body, but we're actually spirits, just like our guides are. And so it's kind of funny when you think of it that way, that we are afraid to contact the spirit world, even though that's where we came from, or we're afraid to contact our guides, even though we are the same as them ultimately. Anyway, he's half man, half alien, probably the leader or spokesman for the aliens. So what did I say? You're a leader, and here we have a leader showing up in the dream. And whatever trait your guides have, you have that in spades. So you are a leader. We know that for sure. Let's see. Probably our spokesman for the aliens. Inside the base from outside, I can see sculptures of naked women or statues of women in sexual poses. The alien man seems friendly or willing to talk. Okay, so let's ignore the statues for a moment. So the alien man seems willing to talk. So this is definitely about communicating with your guides, because the aliens are your guides, and you come across this guy who is half man, half alien, who is willing to talk to you. Definitely about communication, channeling your guides. You've got that in spades. Now, why the statues? Well, statues represent goals or ideals, and they're all female. So it's saying you need to work on your female side. That would be the best goal for you to set, is work on issues that will help the flow of female energy within you. And the sexual poses are about getting intimately in touch with your female side. That would be, like, we all have male and female energy. And it's nothing to do with being a man or a woman, but generally women are more in touch with their female side. I mean, a lot more than men are. But as a man, you can get intimately in touch with your female side. And that's what this stream is saying, that this would really be a goal for you to do. It would be an ideal thing. So such a good goal that we will mark it by a statue, and think how long it takes to make a statue. So there it is. You called it alien base as well. So you're a channel, and you have the ability to work with groups of people. So you're a leader of groups of people. And spiritual leadership works through female energy, with an open and compassionate heart. So you're helping people, but you're not judging them. And so this is why this makes sense then why the dream is saying, get in touch with your female side. So let's have a look at another one. This one is from Kelly. She says, I was in a green forest with market stalls full of people selling their wares. So the forest tells us straight away you have elimination system issues. It's not a big thing. Doesn't really show up in the dream, except that this takes place in a forest. So anyway, you say it's a green forest. So we know it's something to do with the heart. And then selling their wares, it means that you have spiritual abilities, and I'm looking ahead, but you have spiritual abilities that you're meant to sell. So you're meant to work in the spiritual field and make money from working in the spiritual field. I was at a table looking at jewelry, and this is me looking ahead. That's why I said it's spiritual stuff. Looking at jewelry that was in a small jug-shaped vessel, filled with small round black stones. I was feeling them in my hands and admiring them. Then the seller said to me that God told him that stones were my thing. Okay, so crystals are your thing, very clearly. You also are a channel, because the person in the dream, the guide in the dream, says that they got a message from a higher source. So you're able to get messages from a higher source. They say God in the dream. That may reflect or may not reflect your religious nature. It doesn't matter. But it means that you can channel, because the person in the dream can channel. You also have the ability to work with stones, and you said that you're feeling them in your hands. So stones speak to you. Basically, if you pick up a crystal, you know what that crystal does, what it's about, what it can be used for, and who it would be useful for. So I come across people with lots of abilities all the time. People who have an affinity for crystals, it's not that common, by the way, but people who do, it just makes sense to them. They don't have to read books about them, and maybe they do read the books, but they already know what the crystals are for, and why they're good, and why you shouldn't have this particular crystal in your bedroom and you should have these other 5, etc. I don't have that ability. I know if I pick up a crystal, I can tell you what it does to me, how it changes my energy, but that's as far as it goes. And I do use crystals. I do indeed. But anyway, so you've got this ability to work with crystals. And then what have we got? Then I was in another part of the market, which was still in the forest, but there were couches scattered around, and I was admiring all these beautiful Chinese ornaments and trinkets. So the couches scattered around, isn't that weird? Seems really strange. But think about a couch. What are couches used for? If you think about spiritual abilities, it's going to be about counseling. Especially because it's not in an ordinary context. It's like if a bed isn't in a bedroom, then it's about your spiritual side, because when we sleep, we leave our bodies, and we are very spiritually aware at that point. So this is the same. The couches aren't in their ordinary setting, so it's about a spiritual side. You have the ability to counsel. I don't think you like it, though. Anyway, and you'll see why later on. You're admiring these Chinese ornaments and trinkets. The people sitting on the couches are playing Chinese string instruments, and the sound was hauntingly beautiful. So, again, you have the ability to channel because the person told you that they're getting channeling information from a higher source. And then people are playing string instruments. So music in dreams is also about channeling. So that's really good. And there's people sitting on the couches. So the channeling is connected to how you're going to help people with your counseling skill. You're going to channel information that's going to help you. The market seller told me to hurry up and choose something because my group was leaving. I looked around and saw a brown hippie dress on a couch. So why the pressure? Because there's never pressure. Well, dreams that show like being late for something are usually about karma, and they tell you, look, you promised before you got this spot on the planet that you would have this done by age 25, and look, now you're 40 or whatever it is, and you haven't started yet. Please get a move on. And that's really all that's about. But it's not, the age thing isn't really huge. It's more like just getting into it and using it and doing it, and do it at any age. Never think, hey, I'm 71, it's too late, I might as well give up. That's crazy. And Anyway, you told you to hurry up. Your group was leaving. So again, the group says that you can work with groups of people. And you have spiritual leadership abilities too, so quite a few. And I've listed them at the end, so I'll summarize. I looked around and saw a brown hippie dress on a couch. So we have the couch again. And then the hippie dress is, well, let's continue on. I looked at it, it had the number 14 on it, which is my size. I put it on and it fit perfectly. I looked in the mirror. I was wearing a white long sleeve shirt underneath the brown dress. It had a cut out square flap which sat in the back, and 2 diagonal lines that went from the outside of my waist to the middle of my dress, but they didn't meet in the middle. I looked in the mirror and thought the dress suited me. Okay, so the hippie dress, what is a hippie dress about? Hippies are about being free to be yourself. And so that's what you're being told, that getting into this is you being yourself, or you freeing yourself to be yourself. And you told me that you work as a nurse at the moment, but your real, and that's great, but your real skill set is leadership, helping people through counseling and channeling. And you say that it was a long sleeve shirt underneath the brown dress, and it's white. So white is positive with other things, but the brown is it shows up in the dream because the elimination system is there, but it's also a practical color. So it says like getting into this would be practical, which kind of means you probably don't really like the idea of counseling. And then it's a long sleeve dress, so that's not good. The fact that a long sleeve, so a short sleeve, anything in a dream is about, if somebody's wearing short sleeves, it's basically them saying, hey, look, or a guide saying, I've nothing up my sleeve, I've nothing hidden. This is me just being honest. And so that's what it's asking you to do is don't hide this aspect of yourself. And it has a square cut out in the back, which is about removing limitation from the past. That's what it's asking you to do, because that's cut out. It's a flap, but it's still a cutout, so get rid of it. The 2 diagonal lines that don't meet in the middle is about your channeling. Let's move it on. When I walked towards the psychic lady's stall to pay for it, I felt something in my pocket. It was a bracelet. So again, you're psychic. You have a strong connection with your higher self. That's what psychic means. I wanted to wear it, but the psychic gave me a different necklace to wear. It was a pearl necklace. So pearls are about counseling as well. So we have the couches and the pearls, both saying you're a counselor, so we know you have it for sure. But here's the bad thing. I looked in the mirror, but I didn't think it matched the dress I was wearing. So that means that you don't think counseling is a good match for you. And that's something that you have to heal. So I've summarized them because there's quite a lot in this dream. First of all, you need to free yourself to be yourself, remove limitation from the past, which is the square flap in the back. You have the ability to feel crystals. They speak to you and they tell you how they work. You're also a hands-on healer, because you have emphasis on the hands and so on. But also, I don't think I've ever met a crystal healer who isn't also a hands-on healer. So you have that. You're also a channel. That's really good. Shows up beautifully in the dream because you talk about, and you're asked to see it in a beautiful way because you say the music was so beautiful. Then you're a counselor, and that works in combination with your channeling. But you say it doesn't match the dress. So it probably means something along the lines of you don't want to have to tell people what to do. You'd rather just be the nice person, and counselors aren't always the nice person. And then lastly, you are a psychic, and a psychic works through feeling, through female energy, and it's where you just get intuition or a knowing about somebody, and it's always accurate. It doesn't require logic. So the last note I have is that you don't want to be defined as a counselor. Anyway, write and let us know what you think of that, because I'm sure it is not what you expected that dream to be about. And one more dream from Kelly, just to emphasize the channeling. You say, I wanted to sing. I was a young girl, 12 years old. I was meant to sing in a choir, but I was kicked out because I was with my mum and I didn't want to do it. The song was beautiful. I was shown the music that the choir sang and that I was left out of. I could read the music really well. I was a natural singer. I can't remember what the title of the music was, but it was similar to Hosanna. The teacher spoke to my mum and she said it was a shame I wasn't in the group singing. So we can see this as well. Your spiritual leadership is there, your ability to work with groups, because the teacher and the group and all that are mentioned. So it's saying that what you need to do is let go of issues picked up by from mom, at a young age. Now, you say you were 12 in the dream, so it could be around 12, but usually it goes way before that. But at 12, you will at least recognize it. So that would be the significance. So something happens at 12 that allows you know, oh yeah, I've got this trait. But you're a channel. That's what it's all about, and that's what the singing is about. But you need to heal the issues around mom in order for you to open up to using it. And it's not that you're being blocked from it. It's the issues with mom block your channeling. That's really the way to look at it. But really good. I like those two dreams. Thanks for sending them in. So we'll squeeze another one in. This one is from Jane. She says, the dream is short and my mom is looking at me and then I punch her in the mouth so hard. I punch her and feel pure hatred toward her. The background is black and I think she loses a tooth. Okay, that's it. That's the whole dream. It's really punchy, excuse the pun. So this is about your mom, obviously. And anger with your mom because you're feeling all this hatred in the dream, and the background is black. That's about resentment. And this dreamer is actually working on healing issues around mom. So when you're working on issues and you see something like this, it means that you're hitting the nail on the head, or hitting your mom in the tooth in this case. So it's really working, and that's what we want to see. So if you're looking at your dreams and you're doing a therapy and these things don't show up, if they don't take a turn for the worse, the therapy hasn't kicked in yet, or there's something you need to add to the therapy or adjust within the therapy and so on. Very, very important. But anyway, you punch her in the mouth and you think she loses a tooth. So this is saying you're looking at your mom, you're annoyed, you're angry at how she raised you, because teeth in dreams are about child rearing. Animals carry their young around with their teeth. It's one of the most common symbols you'll see in dreams, losing a tooth. So the dream says that you need to work, or that you're angry at your mom because of how she raised you, and that's what you're focusing on at the moment. And in the dream, you express that anger by punching her. So it's very therapeutic in a dream, very good to do that in a dream, because there's no consequence other than the healing that goes with it. So that's it. That's my show for this week. Thank you for tuning in and listening, or listening on the podcast. If you want to get your dreams done, and I need them all the time, please go to dream-analysis.com and submit your dream to the show. If you want to just have a go at your own dreams, go to the same location, dream-analysis.com, and download my free dictionary. And you can follow along and work on your own dreams. Until next week, I'm Michael Sheridan.